closing in thanks to Ukrainian defenses. They are deteriorating the city with a steady fusillade of artillery, rocket and cruise missile fire. That's the condition right now in the city of Kharkiv. We'll have our reporters on the ground in just a moment. Remember, we'll have our reporters on the ground in Kharkiv in just a moment from now. Remember that the signal issues continue to, cripple communications in Kharkiv. Certain communication centers have also been compromised, as a result of which data connectivity and mobile connectivity is not entirely reliable. So far, students are still being able to keep in touch with their parents. But like we just heard the Ukrainian Member of Parliament tell us here on India Today, several people in Kharkiv have decided to stay on and fight in this city. I want to stay with these images because we're going to get our reporters in on them to take us forward on what the Ukrainian government is planning to do next on Kharkiv. Kharkiv is where it is at. The battle for Kharkiv has become the most defining face of what is happening in Ukraine at this point of time. Let's get Gaurav Sawant in. Let's get Rajesh Pawar in. Let's get Maria back on the line. This is a situation that is spiraling out of control. Time is running out for the people of Kharkiv. And it is clear that more than 3,500 Indian students who are on Telegram and WhatsApp groups who are watching India Today, because I know they're reaching out to me directly. Even now on my phone, I've gotten messages from students in Kharkiv saying they are watching our coverage. Some of them are saying that they're not very far from where this is actually taking place. I've told them to be safe. You'll hear some of those voices here on India Today in just a short moment from now as well. Of what's going on in Ukraine's second largest city. It's devastation, it's doom, it is damage. Has been hit. The military academy has been hit. Shelling has lit up the night sky, and a cruise missile attack that became one of the most shared videos of the damage to Kharkiv city yesterday. 4 defining images of the scary deterioration in security of Kharkiv. Is this a city that's about to fall? Remember, on day 3 of the invasion, Russia had basically revealed that they had taken control of Kharkiv. This turned out not to be true because on the roads outside Kharkiv, there was large evidence of damage to Russian forces with burnt out vehicles. As a result of that, the Ukrainians said that they had taken control of the city once again. On the back of that and in the wake of the street fighting that's been taking place on the outskirts of Kharkiv is the kind of damage that's now playing out on your screen in the last 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen. It is progressive damage. It is getting more aggressive. The tempo of these attacks is rising. The intensity of the weaponry that's being used appears to be escalating as well. We've heard reports of vacuum bombs and cluster bombs being used not near Kharkiv, but not very far from the city either. Could such weaponry be deployed in the city of Kharkiv? Is mission domination of Kharkiv something that involves completely flattening the city? Is President Putin's army looking at a scorched earth policy to completely burn Kharkiv to the ground, or at least reduce large parts of it to rubble, to shock the people out of the city so that Russia can claim its first big metropolitan city under its control? Putin, remember, is on the back foot right now after a week of operations. He's got nothing substantive to show for it. The Russian forces have suffered a lot of damage, but the Russian forces are immensely large. They've got the capacity and the stomach to actually absorb a lot of damage. But after 7 days, if Putin has nothing to show for it, it's going to make him look very bad, and it's going to make him look more dangerous. And that's the manifestation of what you're seeing. play out on your screen right now. I'm waiting for our reporters who are going to be joining me in 30 seconds. In 30 seconds to take us more. More shots coming in. More shots coming in from Kharkiv, the aftermath of some of that shelling in another location. I want to show all of our images right now. Unprecedented scenes in the city of Kharkiv. Damage from one particular residential neighborhood shows shattered roofs, shattered doors, possibly the result of shelling or rocket fire. Evidence of damage in a residential area as well. You can see snow over there. It's been snowing in Ukraine. It's still winter there in that part of the world. It's cold. It's -6 degrees. And here is an image of damage in a residential district of Kharkiv. But I want to go back to the earlier pictures. Let's go back to the earlier pictures which show you the active damage that's being done in the city of Kharkiv. We will have a voice from Kharkiv also live with us in just a short minute from now. We're having signal issues in establishing contact with one of our reporters who's on the ground. We're going to get a government representative as well. We're also trying to get through to the fire department if we can get a word in from them. You'll also hear from Indian students in Kharkiv in just a short moment from now to give you a live perspective of how bad things are. We will not exaggerate what's going on. The damage is being done. The attacks are constantly escalating. Students are being evacuated, as you can see in that third image. They're being taken to safety. Kharkiv has a large number of educational institutions. 3,500 Indian students are there. One Indian student died yesterday in the city in Russian shelling. And that's the reason why Kharkiv continues to be a city that every Indian has now heard of. It's a name that's familiar and now associated with India and the Ukraine crisis, getting their first direct link with an Indian citizen losing his life in Russian shelling. These images are going to be extremely hard to digest for viewers back home because this shows you that 18 hours after young Naveen Shekharappa lost his life in Russian shelling, there is no pullback, there is no abatement, there is no lessening in the tempo and the intensity of the attacks on this city. They are happening on city centers, they're happening on police headquarters, they're happening on the military academy. Students are fleeing in panic and Kharkiv appears to be totally under siege. This is day 7 of the invasion and the intensity of the attacks is only seen to be rising. From the Ukrainian government that the damage that's been done to both the military headquarters and the police academy, the military academy and the police headquarters in Kharkiv has not resulted in any fatal casualties. There have been some injuries to personnel on the ground, but these are areas that have already been evacuated. In the shelling that has taken place, there are definitely human casualties. Those numbers will come out perhaps in a few hours from now. We'll have a full picture of what that toll actually looks like. You can bet that the toll is going to be pretty substantive given that these are intense and targeted attacks. They're not just meant to damage buildings, but also create a sense of fear and panic in the minds of the people of Kharkiv that the Russian army, the Russian forces mean business. They've softened up the city as well, and things are escalating very, very rapidly in Kharkiv. Could there be a final assault in this city as well to take it over, subdue it, move the people out of Kharkiv, and claim Kharkiv as the first big victory, the Battle of Kharkiv. Is that what Putin is aiming at with all of these actions that we're showing you on your screen? I'm slipping into a very short break on these images. When you come back, I promise you, we're going to have reporters on the ground in Kharkiv. We're the only channel with voices in Kharkiv. We have a Ukrainian MP joining us as well, who was born in Kharkiv. This is going to be our consistent focus for the next couple of hours. Stay with India Today. Fresh images from Kharkiv coming in on the other side. We'll also get in some students over there who've witnessed some of this fighting that's taken place.
To understand elections, you've got to get to the heart of the action.